Hi everybody, welcome to OC Aviary today, where we have welcomed our first baby birds of 2025. We've got multiple different species to show you through today. We've got some canaries, we've got some British finches, and we've got some babies of something else a little bit more unusual. On the 13th of April, we welcomed our very first egg of the 2025 breeding season, and that was from our pair of North Dutch frill canaries. Now, this season, we have 3 pairs of North Dutch frills all along this bottom row, and they are the best quality North Dutch frills that I've bred over the past couple of years. I condensed them down to make it into 3 pairs of the absolutely exceptional birds, and it just so happens that they are the ones that laid eggs first, so we welcomed the first chicks from them. So down here in this nest, we have 4 chicks in there. They are now 5 days old. They hatched on the 1st of May, and they are looking absolutely fantastic. The mother is doing a brilliant job of rearing them too, and to say that, actually the father is doing a great job as well. He's contributing quite a lot. He's feeding the hen on the nest so she can feed the chicks when she's warming them, or he is also feeding them himself. So we've captured some lovely footage of them feeding their chicks, and I'm really pleased with their progress so far. Equally, we have 2 other pairs that have welcomed their first chicks. This week we have both sets of nests of chicks at 2 days old, so they're particularly small at this moment in time, a nest of 4 and a nest of 5. So things are looking really positive here so far. We have 13 chicks out of 3 pairs of the canaries. The parents all doing a wonderful job, which I'm really pleased about. Whilst canaries can and will rear their chicks on seed alone, it is best to offer them some egg food. So my preference, at least, is making my own mix-up. We get the dry mixes in, and then I add extra little things in there, because what I've found, at least in my birds, they're not too keen on egg food alone. They like to have that variety in there. So adding some different vegetables and some different treats in there really encourages them to take it, and we certainly get very good results and very healthy growing chicks. So let's take a look how I make my egg food. So we start off with some green starter. We hydrate it with some water, give it a good stir. So it should look like this. Leave it for 10 minutes and it will stoke up like this. Now ready to add some petit pois, some dried veggies, some dry egg food mix, and then give all of that a good stir together. Once it's ready, it's pretty much ready to serve like that. However, you can add something a little bit extra, so I add some grog gold. This will take care of any black spot that occurs in the young chicks, so just give a little bit of a sprinkle of that in, mix it into the egg food, and it's perfect. Around the same time that the canaries were laying their first eggs, we also had the green finches laying their first eggs. So in the last episode, we saw that 6 out of the 7 hens had laid eggs from our green finches, and I can confirm that actually out of those 6 hens, 4 of them had got fertile eggs, 2 had got clear eggs. So we have got actually 4 nests of greenfinch chicks, which is amazing. I'm really pleased with that. That is probably the best start we've had with the greenfinches ever over the past 6 years of me keeping them. So up here in this nest, we have the oldest chicks. These chicks are now 5 days old, and we're literally just about to ring them. So they're looking really good. The parents are doing a very good job as well. It is an older, experienced hen rearing them, so she's pretty much knows what she's doing all the time, which is very good news. We have another hen down here, a young hen this time. She's got 5 at 2 days old, and she's actually doing quite a good job with them. I was a little bit unsure how she'd get on being a young, inexperienced bird, but the instincts have taken over and she's doing a fabulous job. Equally, down here at the very end, we have another nest of 5 being reared. Again, same situation. It's actually her sister. So five chicks, 2 days old. It's a young, inexperienced hen and a young, inexperienced cockbird as well, but doing an amazing job. So really pleased with that with our green finches. The fourth greenie hen with chicks, which was one that I was really hopeful would be fertile, is the ones in the penthouse suite. So this is the largest cage we've got in the bird room, and the hen has made a nest up there in that top corner. She had 6 eggs. Now, yes, that is right, 6 eggs. It's unusual that they have that many. 5 is the normal. Occasionally you get 6, but she's got 6 eggs and all 6 of them are fertile. And it just so happens that this is my absolute best pair of birds. If I had to choose one single pair of birds to breed out of this year, it would have been this pair. So we've got my absolute top male bird. He has fertilized those 6 eggs, which I'm really pleased with. Actually, earlier in the season than he did last year. Last year he had a clutch which were initially infertile, and then it came to about end of May, June time, he had a second clutch that were then fertile with the hen. So he's with a different hen this year. Her eggs were full, and she's got 5 chicks now. I think there's 1 more egg to hatch, and they are all looking really good. So extremely pleasing news with them. Whilst the green finches do get egg food, of course, to rear mostly their chicks on, they also get, first off, some soak seeds. So I'm giving them the Easy Soak mix from Haith's. They absolutely love that. They're devouring that and pumping it into the chicks. And also, because they are native birds, they generally have a higher protein requirement, so they are getting some insects. So here we have some frozen pinkies. So I put a little egg food drawer of frozen pinkies in for them every morning alongside the egg food and the germinated seeds. They're absolutely smashing it. The chicks are growing unbelievably quickly, and that being said, I think it's now time that we ring the first native bird chicks of the year. For this, we're using British Bird Council closed rings of 2025. They look absolutely fantastic. So initially it is quite a fiddly job. It does take some time to get this right. Working the ring over those front 3 toes initially, over the ankle, over the back toe and the leg, so it holds onto the foot and can't come off. And that will help and make sure that our birds are proven to be captive bred and correctly close rung. So that is a size E ring from the British Bird Council. That is chicks 1 and 2 rung, and I'll just make a note of this in my breeding diary. If you want to see a tutorial on how to ring chicks better, then make sure to check out the link at the top of your screen for a video I created a few years ago. Before we head out to the aviaries to see what chicks have appeared in there, I quickly wanted to talk about our lesser redpoles. Now, they are a bird that generally I will not let them go down until at least the beginning of May. That is the possibly earliest point I will let them go down. The reason for this is very simple. I've been keeping lesser redpoles for 6 or 7 years now. I've let them go down early in April, even March, and it's just caused nothing but problems. We've had infertile eggs, birds making nests and not laying eggs, etc, etc. And the reason for that then is leaving them and holding them on is that I found that by holding them until the beginning of May, it makes them click a lot better and you get much better results, and that is exactly what's happened. So we put all the nest sites on for the lesser redpoles on May 1st, and in that time all 6 hens have begun building nests, which is really pleasing, and we even have 2 of the nests here and down there with their first egg laid just today. So that is really pleasing news. Within 5 days we have got the first eggs from the lesser redpoles. They're looking really good. The cockbirds have been twilling away. I think the eggs will be full, but we'll have to see from that. And even down here in the long flight cage where we have a quadruple, so we have 3 hens and 1 cockbird, a hen right at the very end has laid a clutch of eggs. So I think she's got 4 eggs in there, maybe 4, maybe 5. So I'm hopeful they'll be full, but we've got then another nest being built up round the corner. So it just seems that the redpoles are off to an unbelievably fantastic start. So that's the news from inside the bird room. So what about inside our aviaries? If you follow OC Aviary on social media, I doubt you've missed this. So on Friday, the 2nd of May, we welcomed our first ever soft-bill chicks. They hatched inside this aviary, and that was of course to the pair of bearded reedlings. So the pair of bearded reedlings were put into this aviary once it had been planted and scaped with a nice waterfall and loads of natural things in there. They went pretty much immediately to nest, and they laid 6 eggs, which was fantastic. It all seemed to be going to plan very, very quickly, which was, you know, so pleasing for my first time with these soft bills. And so far, long may it continue, touch wood, that is continuing quite well. So on Friday the 2nd of May, the first chicks hatched. So we had 1 chick hatch early in the morning. I came into the aviary and found a couple of eggshells on the floor, which usually means that the chicks have hatched or the parents have smashed the eggs for some reason. But no, we did have a chick. I checked on the live camera to find a tiny little chick in the nest site when the mother was looking at it a little bit perplexed, wondering what that was, because they are a juvenile, inexperienced pair. They've never bred before. So I think they were a little bit confused as to what that was first. And then a few hours later, we welcomed the second chick. That second chick hatched. Now, the only disappointing side of it was that out of the 6 eggs, only 2 of them were fertile. 4 were infertile. I've since candled them and they definitely just didn't develop. So I imagine that's because they're a young pair. The cockbird's only 8 months old, so he's probably was finding his way around how to breed and stuff. But things are looking really well so far. The parents are doing an amazing job. Both of them are taking equal parts in rearing the chicks, incubating the eggs, incubating the chicks, keeping them warm. So I'm really proud of the progress so far, and they're smashing the live food. All they eat when they're feeding their chicks is live food, so they're getting live buffaloes, they're getting frozen pinkies, and they're getting live fruit fly by the thousands. So they're smashing that at the moment. It's going into the chicks, and the chicks are developing really well. So I think we'd better take a closer look. In the UK, the bearded reedling is a Schedule 4 species, which means you have to have certain licenses to actually monitor their nests and observe them. So there's an awful lot of headaches around actually studying their breeding behaviour in the wild. But of course, in captivity, it is a very different situation. Providing the birds are captive bred, close rung, and we have the certificates for them, we can observe their nests no problem. And that's of course what I've been doing with the green feathers camera that we have over the nest, so we can keep a close eye on them, and that has been invaluable. That has been so enjoyable. Now, something I found that was really interesting that I was surprised in, and maybe if you breed these birds as well or you've seen them in the wild you might know this, but I was just shocked at just how solid of a pair they were. I kind of expect them to be similar to finches in the fact that the hen does most of the work in incubating the eggs and rearing the chicks, and the cockbird's more there to support the hen, if anything, with a little bit of food, or he goes and does his own thing. But it's not the case. The cockbird took an equal role in incubating the eggs, and often find that actually the cockbird would incubate the eggs overnight sometimes, or the hen would do it, so they pretty much did 50-50 shifts in incubating the eggs, and they're doing exactly the same when rearing the chicks. Both of them are actively involved, both taking an equal share of rearing them, and I think that's, you know, it's so nice to see that we've got birds that are really making a good effort as a pair to rear their chicks, rather than like the finches do, which is usually the male bird just does his own thing whilst the hen does all the work. So that was lovely to see. And something a little bit more interesting was I was surprised how similar to finches they are in the idea of like nest management. What you see in finches, and if you breed finches you'll know this, is that they will take out the fecal sacs and either eat them and dispose of them somewhere else, or they throw them over the edge of the nest. And that's exactly what the reedlings have doing. And when the chicks hatched, they were actually helping them get out of the shells. So the chicks were hatching, the shells were then left inside the nest, and they were either eating the shell to replenish the calcium stores if it was the female, or they were taking the shells away and depositing them actually into the stream that's in the aviary. But it was amazing to see, and really something different. So it's been a fantastic experience with them so far, and fingers crossed, long may that continue. Anyway, everyone, that is all we have time for in Breeding British Birds episode 2. I really hope you enjoyed it today. I'm really over the moon with how well things have started, and I just keep my fingers crossed that that will continue. We've got an influx of chicks all of a sudden. We've got loads of birds going to nest and re-going to nest if they had clear eggs. We've got soft-billed chicks, and of course we have our twites and turtle doves that are starting to breed now. We'll see that in an upcoming episode when we explore the conservation programs taking place here at OC Aviary. So if you'd like to see more, then please make sure to subscribe down below, smash a like on this video, follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook and TikTok for daily updates and behind the scenes footage of all of our birds. So thank you very much for watching once again. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.